I'm going to use Perspex to help stop your paintings from drying out too quickly. And what I'm going to do for step 2 is I am going to wet the back and front of the paper with clean water and a large brush. And then I'll paint washes wet into wet and damp into wet, both light and medium tonal values. So the secret here is to really soak the back of your paper. So this will be really helpful to those of you that find your paper dries out too fast. And I'm going to stick my painting to it and then wet the front part. So not only will your painting not dry out too quickly, but it also lay really flat and you won't have all that warping as well. So as you can see here, there's a nice sheen on my paper now. The paper's nice and damp. And as long as the underside stays damp, the top will stay damp as well. So I'm mixing up Cerulean mixed with Ultramarine, nice big puddles because this is for the sky. So make sure you've got plenty of paint. I'm now going to mix up some orange here that I had left over from a previous painting, and I'm going to add a pinch of pink, and this is kind of for the horizon area. So loading my brush, I'm painting this wet into wet with the size 8 brush. Don't worry about the building because it is darker than this area of the sky. So just load the brush and glide the paint. I'm going to add a pinch more Quinacridone Rose. Any pink will do to that orange, just to pink it up a little bit. A bit too much pink there. So I've just diluted it and I'm painting this sort of wet into wet. I've got too much pigment there, so I'm just sort of wriggling my brush to get rid of it there. And then just gliding that pink sort of just above that orangey pink colour. Rinse my brush there. I'm loading the cerulean and painting it directly above that sort of pinky colour, wet into wet. Can you see how many times I just load my brush? So you've got plenty of fresh paint, and that creates that lovely transparent luminous colours. Adding a little bit more of that cerulean just above, tilting now to allow it to run into the pink below to create seamless sort of lovely soft edges. So loading my brush with the cerulean there, painting that wet in wet at the top of the sky. The tonal value is slightly stronger, so I've added a bit more pigment to the wash because this is the foreground area of our painting, so the tonal value will be stronger and it will create the illusion of depth. Stronger tonal values come forward, lighter ones recede. I've added more ultramarine there with a pinch of cerulean. I'm painting this damp into wet with my size 8 brush. So I'm starting off with Hansa Yellow Light on its own using a large mop brush. So I'm just painting the grasses. So loading my brush with the Quinacridone Gold here and yellow and pushing that colour in wet into wet there. Look at it spread there. So as I'm looking at the photograph, I can see all these lovely warm yellows on the cliff top. So just tilting here as well. This is the Quinacridone Gold. So I'm just putting it here and there. So mixing up some burnt sienna here into that Perylene green. So you've got a lovely earthy green. I'm also mixing up some red into that green above there. So you've got some lovely earthy colours, and I'm painting this wet in wet still using that large mop brush and continuously tilting either sort of towards me or to the side, so you get these lovely natural looking flows of colour. This is a lovely sort of green here using sap green, painting damp almost into wet, tilting. And I'm just adding a little bit of warmth there as well. That was the red mixed with the green there, and just adding a little bit more raw sienna to that colour and just painting on the edge of the cliff there. This is a little bit more burnt sienna here on the edge of the cliff, adding a little bit more sap green just below and into that burnt sienna, mixing the colours wet into wet onto the paper there, and then painting in front of the little cottage on the hilltop there, again tilting, allowing the paint to flow. So the colours are getting slightly thicker, slightly darker. So this is the sap green with the burnt sienna. I'm just choosing areas where I can see darker tonal values and tilting, allowing the paint to flow down. Pushing some more darks here, just at the bottom right hand corner, adding a little bit of ultramarine in there as well to make a darker tonal value. More in the foreground to again create depth in the painting. So mixing up some sap green with the yellow there. So it's a lovely limey green, and I'm painting this pretty much wet into wet on top of some of those dark sort of brown warm colours there, drizzling my heavy loaded brush there onto the wet surface. Tilting not just the painting but the perspex as well, because it's stuck. The painting is stuck to the perspex by the water underneath the painting. So just adding that lovely sort of limey green and now a little bit more quinacridone gold just in front of the cottage there, painting sort of almost damp into wet using my size 10 round brush. And then adding a little bit more of that quinacridone gold just above this dark area here to the left, damp into wet, and to the right of the building there. I'm using sandpaper and a watercolour pencil. I'm rubbing the tip of the pencil against the sandpaper, allowing the pigment to fall onto the wet surface, and it will fix itself onto there so it won't come off, and it creates some lovely dark textures. And textures create depth in a painting because they come forward. So I'm using salt as well. I'm going to sprinkle that onto the foreground. That will absorb the paint to create lovely light textures once dry. So while the paper's still damp, I'm going to mix colours for the rocks on the left. So I'm mixing up burnt sienna and ultramarine. Nice creamy mixture here. So this is damp into damp using my size 8 round brush. If you notice, because the painting now is damp, you don't have to worry too much about it travelling too much. But if it does travel, I'm going to show you a way of stopping the paint sort of bleeding, for instance, into the C area. So sort of varying the colours here, adding a little bit more ultramarine to the burnt sienna ultramarine mix. So it's about 70% ultramarine and 30% burnt sienna. So creamy dark colours here, and I'll be using the card technique to lift off to create light and textures here to give the impression of these rocky cliffs. So I'm using the plastic card now to swipe some of this damp paint to create light and texture. So just lifting off a few more sort of marks here on that cliff area here on those rocks, swiping just once. Don't go back and forth because you could tear a hole in the paper or scuff it badly. So just be careful and swipe once. I'm using cobalt teal to paint the sea. Now, if you don't have this colour, don't worry. You could use turquoise, phthalo blue or cerulean. So I'm painting this damp into damp with my size 8 brush. I'm mixing up a little bit of cerulean into that cobalt teal, and I'm painting that on the horizon, slightly darker, damp into damp. Just going right to the cliffs there. Remember, everything's still damp, so be careful not to push that right onto the green area there. I'm painting the distant headland here, starting off with Hansa yellow light, damp into damp, mixing up a little bit of ultramarine, painting that on top of the Hansa yellow light, so mixing the colours on the paper, damp into damp. They're lighter, so they look further away. So just blending that with the tip of my size 8 brush. Add a little bit more ultramarine, just painting that little bit of a darker colour just where the houses are, damp into damp. Mixed up ultramarine and burnt sienna about 50-50 using my size 4 round brush, and just adding a little bit more darks here, damp into damp. Still a lot paler than the foreground cliffs. Just enough details to describe this distant land. I'm going to allow the painting to dry naturally to allow the salt to work. So I'm working on the distance first using ultramarine with a pinch of burnt sienna just below the sort of white houses here, wet on dry, using my size 4 round brush, and then using a clean damp brush to blend and soften the hard edge there. Adding a little bit more of that cobalt teal to the water, wet on dry. As you can see, I've removed the masking fluid there, so I've got a lovely white sort of surf there. So I'm just sort of building up the detail, adding a little bit of ultramarine to that cobalt teal as well, working wet on dry. I've mixed up ultramarine with a pinch of quinacridone gold, and I'm painting the edge of the cliff here using my size 4 brush. and I'm just working my way along to the building there. And what this dark does, it pulls away from the sky and the distant land as well. And for the hard edge underneath you get from this wash, just use a clean damp brush to soften away. So just working my way up to the building here, using a little bit more ultramarine on the edge, dropping that in damp into damp there. I've diluted this area using a clean damp brush. I felt it was a bit too dark. So just painting the edge of the cliff here using Quinacridone Gold with a pinch of sap green, and again using a clean damp brush just to wet underneath and to blend and soften so you haven't got an awkward hard edge, but it pulls away from the sea, creating depth. So mixing up some sap green here with a bit of burnt sienna. I'm just painting sort of mid greens here at the top of those sort of rock areas, wet on dry, using my size 4 brush and diluting with a clean wet brush just to create a natural looking edge there. And I've mixed up a little bit more ultramarine here and just painting that wet into wet there using my size 4 brush. Adding some stronger green here using the ultramarine with a pinch of the sap green, rinsing my brush and just softening and blending with a clean wet brush just to make it all look quite natural at the top of the cliffs. I'm using a very dilute ultramarine to glaze some shadow areas wet on dry using my size 8 brush. So I'm painting the building now, the star of the show, the focal point. So working on the left hand side, which is where the light is coming from, using a dilute cerulean with a pinch of red. And now I am painting the rooftop using ultramarine with a pinch of burnt sienna. And I'm working wet on dry using my size 4 round brush. Just take your time doing this, and I'm painting around these dormer windows as well, so I'm going to keep them light. So mixing up ultramarine with Quinacridone Gold, I'm just going to paint sort of on the edge of the path here, a few marks wet on dry, and then using a clean wet brush soften those marks, and it's just to subtly lead your eye up to the focal point. I don't want a complete sort of closed in path. I want it to sort of be hit and miss, so it leads you up there sort of very sort of gently. This is a larger area of the path, so I'm just painting some sort of stronger, bigger marks here using sap green. So I'm wetting patches to paint wet in wet to build up darker green. So this is a little bit of sap green with a pinch of red, painting wet into wet. I'm being mindful to leave a lot of the light underpainting coming through as well. So just sort of drop in some of these slightly stronger tonal values wet into wet. So again, wetting this area to the left here, just do a patch by patch up to the path, getting a little bit of sap green mixed with yellow and just dropping these colours in wet into wet just to build up a little bit more tonal value and detail on the grasses. As you can see, I've outlined the path as well, wet on dry, so it really brings that path to life with the light against the mid-tone there and that lovely crisp edge you get from working wet on dry. So just dropping in some sap green with the Hansa yellow light, wetting this area to the left, again dropping in that sort of lovely mid-tone colour, pinch of burnt sienna as well, sort of working wet into wet there. So I'm going to paint the figure here and the dog. I'm using ultramarine and burnt sienna, painting wet on dry using my size 4 round brush. And I'm going to leave the sort of white shirt to the right hand side, painting the dark of the dog there, leaving the sort of white of the head, painting cast shadows. So just slightly diluted that colour, painting it wet on dry and then dropping in darks just immediately below the feet of the dog and the person there where the shadow will be darkest. And then adding some darks to the hat, giving the person a cane as well here, a walking stick, a little bit of dark on the dog here as well. I'm going to allow my painting to dry once more. For step 4, I'm going to paint darks and details wet on dry. I've used a little bit of Cerulean here with Pyrrol Red, and I'm painting sort of darks and details on the rooftop around the windows here, the chimney pot, etc., using my size 4 round brush just to build up those details on the edge of the rooftop there and underneath the eaves, doing the same to the building on the right hand side, and then using a clean damp brush to blend and soften those shadow colours there to make them look more natural. I'm adding some bushes and foliage in front of the building here to kind of set it back, and I'm using Ultramarine with Hansa Yellow Light, wet on dry using my size 4 brush, and then softening and blending with a clean damp brush. And I'm adding some darks to the edge of the path here as well, using the Ultramarine with a pinch of the yellow, wet on dry, and then blending with a clean damp brush. So just adding a bit of white to the hat. I felt the hat wasn't wide enough. So just finessing here using white gouache and my size 2 round brush. Just a few little highlights here and there. I always love to have a little spatter. So I've mixed up some white with the leftover green on my palette. And I'm spattering a light green here and there, using the paper towel to protect the person there. But also remember to protect your sea and sky. I had a little dark mark in the sky, so I decided to disguise it with some birds. So just sort of wide shaped V's here, wet on dry using a dilute ultramarine and burnt sienna mix. Just adding sort of like some fence posts here to the focal point area just in front of the house. I felt that it really kind of create a bit more interest and lead the eye in, and a red scarf to the figure to kind of connect that person with the path up to the focal point. I've removed the washi tape. Here's a close-up of the painting. I'm really pleased with it, and I really hope you find it helpful. And if you'd like to support the content I create here on YouTube, why not think about joining my Patreon membership? You'll get access to my exclusive weekly tutorials, outline sketches, and downloadable PDF with progress photographs and step-by-step instructions. Details about the membership can be found in the description below. Just click Patreon. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Happy painting. Bye for now.